be finishing up in John chapter 21 today. Verses 15 through 19. When they had finished eating, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" "Yes, Lord," he said. "You know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my lambs." Again Jesus said, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" He answered, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus said, "Take care of my sheep." The third time he said to him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" And Peter was hurt, because Jesus asked him a third time, "Do you love me?" And he said, "Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my sheep. Very truly I tell you, when you were younger, you dressed yourself and went where you wanted. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands, and someone else will dress you and lead you where you do not want to go." Jesus said this to indicate the kind of death by which Peter would glorify God. Then he said to him, "Follow me." Good morning.
Good morning.
And happy Mom's Day to all of you out there this morning. Being a mom is, as I've watched my wife be a mom, it's not an easy job. And as I was thinking about Mother's Day last night, I was thinking about the things my mom did for me, and I watched you ladies as you raised your kids and talked about them and told stories, and watching Karen raise our boys. And I thought to myself, a mom's a special person. God, when He created you, He gave you qualities that men just can't match up to. Not that we don't have them, but we don't have them at times in the same fullness. And I was thinking of a mom and your love for your kids and your mercy and your grace and your forgiveness for them. I'm just astonished at how you just personify God's attributes in your life as a mom. And I got to thinking about Karen and her raising us and some of the comments she's made through the years. And she loves to tell, and I tell you this before, that she says she's raising 3 boys. 2 that will grow up, mature, and move out, and then there's me. And I wondered, how many of you ladies out here feel the same way about your husbands? At times you're like, "Yep, he's my only child." And we've joked about it in the house, and so one day we were in the house, the 3 boys and I, we were nitpicking with one another. "No, I'm Mom's favorite. No, I'm Mom's favorite. No, I'm Mom's favorite." And Karen, she was just sitting there like she does, just reading her book, being still. We finally, "Which one's your favorite?" And just quietly reading her book, she goes, "Brooklyn." Stopped our argument. You ladies have something special. And one of the things that I've noticed through the years with my wife is forgiveness. We had this plant in our living room, and it was up on a pedestal, and that thing took a beating. The boys and I were always knocking that thing off the shelf, and we got pretty good at cleaning it up in a hurry. But I'd watch Karen. The kids, we'd be going through there, we'd hit that thing, you'd hit the floor. "I'm sorry." "It's all right. It's all right. We got this." She'd jump down there. She'd forgive us. Help clean it up. Life was good. But you go out into a man's garage, and Junior drops my new day wall on the floor. And And he says he's sorry, and I accept. I know it was an accident, but instead of, oh, it's okay, I'm all right. Okay, I understand. Go somewhere else. We forgive our children. Guys, we forgive, and we love our kids, and we forgive them. But a mom tends to put her words into action a little quicker. Today's scriptures, last week if you remember, we were talking about Peter and fishing in the boat, and how Jesus had appeared to him and said, fish on the other side of the boat. And we were talking about it being maybe more spiritual. Turning to God and running to God and seeking Him out. Because remember, Peter is suffering emotionally, spiritually. He denied Christ 3 times on the night Jesus was arrested. Jesus even told him he was going to. Peter is in a bad place in his heart. He's suffering. He's wondering. He's been with the disciples and walking with them, but there's some worry there. And I wonder, have you ever been in that spot? You and God. Life has taken its toll on you. And I've talked to many different pastors and different people, and they go, I feel so separated from God right now. Things have gotten in the way, be it sin or just struggles and troubles, and they go, I don't feel like I'm in touch with God. I don't feel like I can get in touch with God. I'm just drained. And I was thinking about this last night a little bit more. Sometimes I wonder if we don't think about it consciously. But I feel like sometimes maybe we feel like God's only got so much to give us. Forgiveness, love, mercy, whatever it may be. And sometimes I think we believe somehow, for some reason, down deep inside, we've got to do so much to build that up, to keep it going. Kind of like your bank account. We've got to put money in for there to be money to use when we need it. And so I wonder if sometimes we don't look at God kind of like that, like, maybe I better do this on my own and saving for when I need it. I don't think we maybe consciously think that, but subconsciously. And sometimes maybe we feel like we've drained our account. Maybe you went out and spent all your money on frivolous things that you didn't need, and then the bill popped up and there was nothing there. So what did you do? You tried to work to put it back, don't you? And I wonder if sometimes we feel like we've drained our account with God because of foolish, bad choices or lack of trust or whatever it may be, and we're physically and spiritually drained down, and we're just like, oh, what do I do? I wonder if Peter was maybe in that area. Have I overstepped? Have I drained my account? Will God forgive me? And so last week we were talking about Peter. He was fishing. And he recognized Jesus. Remember, Jesus called from the shore, cast your net on the other side. And when John looked at Peter, he goes, that's Jesus. Peter jumps out of the boat. He takes off and he runs to God. And the others came up and they were sitting there and they were eating this meal. And I said, none of them really asked him who it was, but they were just sitting there quiet. And I can only imagine what Peter was dealing with there. Here he is. He's feeling guilty. And here he is facing God. Sitting across this fire or next to him. How awkward would that be? How awkward would that be? And finally Jesus looks at him. And he says, Simon Peter, son of John, do you love me more than these? Yes, Lord. You know that I love you. Feed my lambs. Again, he asked Simon, son of John, do you love me? Yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Take care of my sheep. The third time he said, Simon, son of John, do you love me? And Peter was hurt. Because Jesus asked him a third time, do you love me? And he says, Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you. Who initiated that conversation? Jesus. Jesus wanted to renew that relationship with Peter. It wasn't Peter coming up to him and begging him. It was Jesus calling out to him. Peter, do you love me? Do you really love me? 3 times he asked. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Feed my lambs. Take care of my sheep. It's real forgiveness right there. Jesus could have just asked him, Peter, do you love me? And he could have said, yes, I do. And Jesus could have said, okay. But he didn't. You see, because Peter has a purpose in God's plan. Just like you and I. We don't want to have that separation between God. We have fallen short of what we believe He wants, and we're feeling shameful and doubtful about our faith and worrying about life and whatever there is. Whenever there's that tension, that separation, maybe we're not denying Christ, but we're not following Him, or we're just trying to stay back because we're afraid or we're worried. God's calling to you. Do you love me? Do you love me? So often, when life gets us down, be it through regrets, sin, health issues, you name it, instead of going to Jesus, we tend to fall back. Maybe shame or guilt. Maybe our faith is wavering and we're wondering if you could really handle whatever it is. You see, there's times in our lives, even though Peter clearly denied Christ by going, no, I don't know Him. We at times, in a similar manner, because of our lack of trust and lack of going to Him, we deny Him. Jesus says, I'm here to tell you, Peter, I still love you. And He looks at Peter and He says, I'm going to tell you something, Peter. He says, when you were small and young, you did the things that you want. You dressed the way you want. But He says, when you're old, you're going to be taken away by others. You're going to be dressed and told what to do, things you don't want to do. This was Jesus sharing that Peter would suffer for the glory of God. And He looks at him and He says, follow me. God has a plan for you and I. Do I know what yours is? No. We can talk about it. He has a plan for me. And it's ever changing. And it may be changing now. Who knows? But what I do know is He has a constant plan. And He doesn't promise us that life's going to be easy. Here's Peter, a man who was walking with God. God just forgave him 3 times. God says, it's going to be real. So follow me. I was on the radio yesterday. I was listening to the message, and the announcer on there made the comment. He said, "Faith ends where worry begins." Our faith ends when worry takes over, or fear. Peter ran to God from that boat. Peter ran to the tomb when he heard that Jesus was alive. And my question to you is, are you running to God? Or are you stepping back? Are you holding back? As they began to walk, Peter looked and John was following him. And he says, "What about him, Lord?" Jesus says, "What is it to you if he stays alive for us till I return? What concern is that of yours?" To paraphrase. He says, "You need not worry about him." Jesus was telling Peter, "I have a job for you to do. You need not concern yourselves with the other disciples. You pray for them, those things, but don't compare yourselves to the others. Don't let them boss you around. Here's the deal, Peter." He says, "I've got a plan for you." Just as he does for all of us. Are we following God? Or are we sitting just quietly at a distance and just looking? Are we even falling back? Jesus, if there is brokenness between the two of you, he wants to restore that. He doesn't want to be at ends with us. God no more wants separation between us and him than you and I want separation between us and him. That bank account of love and grace and mercy from God does not run out. It's not what you do that fills that account. It's what God does. Amen? Yes. We cannot give God. And we can't deplete him of his love. We can't use up all of his forgiveness. We can't. Because he is God. John finishes with, "I testify to these words that have been written." John was a witness. He was there. And he says if we were to put all of this stuff that Jesus has done in his ministry on paper, he says the world could not contain all the books. We only got a glimpse of how great God really is. We only got a glimpse of his unending love and his unending forgiveness. But I've seen enough to know that it doesn't end. Amen? And I encourage you, if you're struggling, whatever it may be, go to him. Don't walk, but run. Because I believe he's calling you, just as he called Peter. And my question to you is, are you listening? Do you hear that voice? And if so, run to him. Amen? Amen. If you can take that song with you, you can have hope for tomorrow. Amen? Amen. Let us pray. Lord, as we gather before you, a family of believers, individuals who come to be part of something greater, and that greater is you, and we thank you for that. Lord, we thank you for your words of encouragement to not give up and to come to you in our time of need and to trust you. And as this song, what a beautiful song Jennifer laid out there. We need not fear tomorrow because you're already there. And because we have you, we need not fear. Lord, we ask now that as we go forth and leave this place of comfort, that you will lead us through the days ahead. Give us strength to endure, peace in our hearts, love forever. And in all things that we do, be glorifying to you. Be with us now, Lord, as we go forth. Bless us through this week. And Lord, if it be of your will, may we come back again next week and worship and praise you once again. And we ask all these things in your holy name. And everybody said, Amen.